Hey, thanks for stopping by. Health and happiness to you. I'm Skol, and today I'm going to show you my entire side opening automatic switchblade knife collection. Also, going to give you a few tips, show you a few flaws in some of these, maybe some history, and a little legal discussion. So, first of all, we'll start what is not a switchblade? What is not automatic? This knife here is all the rest of these are button automatics, switchblades. This one is not. This is an assisted knife. So I've got a flipper tab here. My finger helps start the motion of the blade, so it's not 100% automatic. And once I get it going, the spring takes over, and watch how fast it flips open. It opens just as fast as a switchblade. It's pretty much exactly the same thing. But for decades, this has been legal, and in a lot of places, this has been illegal, crime by law, even though they're almost exactly the same thing, which is ridiculous. So the laws have been changing. They've been getting rid of a lot of old nanny state lingering switchblade bans. Have been Knife Rights is one of the organizations that's fought hard. So 15 years ago, this map looked a lot worse. Don't use this map for your legal advice. Go look up what the current laws are for your area, but it's gotten a lot more green, and you can see the usual suspects. Democrat nanny state areas have a color other than green. So I'm in Ohio, and I'm all green. Everything's legal, so that's good. So here we've got assisted. I'm going to close that. My first automatic true switchblade I got was this little guy at a gun show. A lot of gun shows also have a few knife tables. So I stopped at a knife table and picked up this little cheapo guy. I bet you it was $10 or less, and that was about 25 years ago. So just press the button in, and this little guy shoots out. I was remembering this wrong. I haven't seen this knife in a while. I actually thought it was smaller. So when I just got it out, I was surprised I can get 4 fingers on that. So it's got such a small blade, I didn't remember it. I remembered it being even smaller. But there you go. Everything's stainless except for the button. The button got rusty before, so I had to clean it up. But you can see 440 stainless, just a little cheapo knife. But it's still fun. Small little switchblade. The next switchblade I got, and I was also remembering wrong, I haven't seen this in so long either. These two were actually in the same bag. I thought I had a Boker Kalashnikov, and so when I got this out and it was a Schrade, I was like, oh, I guess I don't have a Kalashnikov, when I had been thinking for years that I did have one. Anyway, now I've got an idea for Christmas coming up next month. I think maybe I'll get a Kalashnikov, because I always thought I had one for the last couple of years. So this is a Schrade, and it fires really strong. Watch it go. And when I just got this out, I was kind of surprised I hadn't been using this knife more, because I looked at it and it had so many good things. It's got jimping, and I got this like 10 years ago. It's got a little ramp with jimping. The colors are nice, black and gray, camo. You should probably subdue. If you're bothering with a camo blade, why don't you subdue the billboard? But anyway, it still looks nice. Very nice. And the ergonomics, these little scallops, are kind of angled just like your fingers fall over when you hold it. They kind of fall on those scallops. It feels really nice. The thumb locks in right there. There is one flaw that I discovered and remembered what was the problem with this particular knife. And it's because when it deploys, it doesn't have spring tension all the way to the end. So see here, the spring isn't taking it all the way to the fully open position. It stops, the spring tension stops right about there and doesn't take it all the way. So that's a problem on a side auto that can cause it to not lock into position when you're dealing with a button lock. So I'll demonstrate, and I kind of have been testing it today. So when I've got the button depressed, gravity can take it down just a little bit, and then it won't lock. It'll fail to lock because it doesn't lock till I pull that button back out, till I lift my finger. And then there's a little spring that pushes the plunge. But since it's not held by the spring in the fully up, it can just come off a little bit and then it won't lock. So that button didn't come up and it's not locked. So here, if I turn it normally like that, and then when I open it, that time it locked, I can feel when the button pops out, I know it's locked. So let's try it again. That time it didn't lock. So it fired fast, and maybe it looks like well, you can kind of see the till it's not locked. Let's try it again. So it's an easy fix, but automatic means 100%. And when you've got something that fails regularly, that's not 100, so that's not automatic. You have to do an extra step to make sure the button's popped out. So let's try it again. Yep, it didn't lock. So it looked like it was straight, but it wasn't. But if I flip it over, so that I flip it over like this, so that when it opens, gravity's holding it open, it seems to engage 100% of the time then. So it's a 100% automatic if I flip it over and use gravity to keep it from holding the blade open until the lock can engage. Anyway, any good knife reviewer reviewing any side automatics, they should test that. They should test, are they getting spring tension all the way to the end? So this one is no. I hate to ding Schrade because I have quite a few Schrade knives and I like all their stuff. That's a fail on this one, but this one was a Schrade and it's super good. It works really nice. The next automatic knife I got was around when I was watching John Wick 1. John Wick 1 is an interesting movie because the first time I watched it, I thought it was okay or good. But when I watched it again, I thought it was really good. And it kind of has that effect on a lot of people. It's one of the few franchises that has continued to build a following, and each movie gets bigger than the last. So now it seems like everyone's into John Wick now. But anyway, Vigo in the first movie had a switchblade. You might remember the scene. He had his switchblade and he stabbed it into Marcus's leg when he was interrogating him. And then at the end of the movie, there was the big knife fight, Vigo versus John Wick, and Vigo got out his switchblade. So that's kind of what spurred me to finally get a switchblade, and I ended up getting an authentic, real switchblade. So first we'll take a look at it. This is Stag. You can see it's handcrafted. It's got brass pins holding the Stag. It's made in Italy, and I'll show you. But first here, this is the safety. If you look, there's a little slit in the Stag. That's for the safety to travel through that slit. Now it's locked. You can press the button and it doesn't go. And then you push it back down and that frees it. Now if I press the button, it'll fire. So this is a real 11-inch total length, real stiletto made in Italy. Can you read that? Campolin, Maniago, Italy, 2017. So this is an authentic, handcrafted, traditional way, real stiletto. The GIs in World War II, when we invaded Sicily first, and then marched up Italy, taking care of Mussolini, the American GIs. They came across these stilettos in Italy, and a lot of them brought them home as souvenirs, and then they became popular after the war. So that was the introduction of the Italian stiletto, automatic stiletto, to America. So this is actually a super old school one. In the 60s, they invented an upgrade where you can press on the left bolster and it'll swing on the pivot, and that'll push up on the lock to release it. The spring here is pushing down to hold that pin. That's what holds it in the locked open. And on most knives are made with the bolster, easy to unlock, but this is old school. So I put 2 thumbs here and then push up on the blade, and that'll release the spring. So when I push down with my 2 thumbs on each side of this, I lift that off of the pin. Now this one, I just talked about having spring tension all the way to the end, and you can see the spring tension doesn't start until here. The reason this is different is because the button does not affect the spring lock at all. When I press that button down, it doesn't matter. So when this fires all the way open, the spring is going to catch 100% of the time. So this is an automatic, and the spring, all the rest of these are a plunge lock, and they won't lock until I lift my thumb back up. But this one, the button is separate from the lock. So push it down, it gets the spring tension again, and then it catches the latch. So this is an authentic, I call it my Vigo stiletto. I tried to get one as similar as I could, or I looked around, but then I ended up settling on this. So here's my John Wick coin replica. I have a whole bunch of these. I literally have dozens. These came from, I got a few from here and there, but there was a cosplay movie replica website. They were selling these by the batches, however many you wanted to buy. You can go check out, I have a cosplay video. Go find it, the John Wick cosplay. You'll see I have a bunch of these coins. So always carry this one in my pocket pretty regularly as EDC. So I'm always ready for a dinner reservation. The next automatic knife I got was the Kershaw Launch 16, made in the USA. You can see there, USA, there's a flag. The entire Kershaw Launch series is made in the USA. This last one's going to be a Launch one. This one's the Launch 16. I saw a video, Metal Complex, talking about this one, and he was raving about it, one of his top favorite knives. And I agreed with him that this looks really nice. So press the button to deploy. It's got a tanto. It's got raw aluminum that gives it that high luster. It's got rubberized skateboard type traction, and then inlay, and then it's got milled aluminum here for more traction, and then it's got a Cerakote on the blade. Now there is, even though this is so nice and looks so nice, there is one flaw. The button, compared to the rest of these buttons, is completely flush. So if I had my eyes closed and just went along with the tip of my thumb all over, I can't really tell that I'm where the button is. There's no lip to catch. It just slides right across. So either I have to look and see where to press the button, or I found a workaround. It's easy to find this little scallop. So just find the bottom of the scallop, go over just a little bit and up a little bit, and your finger always lands on the button. So that has it's easy to find the button if you do that. But I'd prefer there to be a little bit of a lip so you can just feel where the button is. All the rest of these, you feel the button right away. You can find the button easy with your eyes closed. So, but that especially for the look, it just looks so nice. And Tanto is not even is one of my least favorites, but on this knife it works. So they do have the Launch 22, or is it the 21? It's the same handle with a drop point blade. I still preferred the Tanto. I just think it works with this knife, and I wanted the high silver luster of the aluminum. So that's what I went with. And it works really good. It fires hard and fast. And I've been carrying this one a lot lately. It's in my rotation right now. And the last one in my collection currently, as of today, I'm kind of saving this one for next year, is the 250th anniversary of America. So we had July 4th, 1776. So you add 250 years to that, and that's going to be 2026 next year. So it's an all-American made. Well, maybe not all. There might be a few parts, but enough that it qualifies. It's made in America. Kershaw Launch Series, the entire series is USA made, and it's got this nice American flag, anodized aluminum, and works really nice. One of the design features that's nice about this is it has a slight cant. So you can see if you hold it flat or level or whatever, the blade kind of angles down a little bit. Or if you angle point first, you're getting a little bit of downward cant on the handle, which is ergonomic. Especially if you're like cutting on a table. So if you're coming down, having that downward cant gets the blade onto the table and your fingers out of the way. So that's one of the reasons why this is a nice design. I watched a lot of reviews before I bought this. Quite a few of the top influencers, David C. Anderson over at Knife Center, said that out of all the 20-something launch series that this was one of his favorites, or top favorite. Metal Complex said this was one of the best, and he loved it. And Neves, I saw a video, he had like 10 knives in the launch series. He was reviewing all of them in a big batch, and out of all of them, he picked all of those. He picked the launch one, this one, as the top one out of the batch. There was somebody else. Gideon's Tactical, he said he loves the launch one. So I agree with all those other guys. The launch one is really good, and I don't have any flaws to point out like I did in some of the others. So you can find the button. It fires nice. It's fun. You can actually get this one in MagnaCut. I went with the American flag handle. But they do have a MagnaCut version. This one is CPM 154, which is actually different than 154 CM that you see a lot. And this is the better one. So this is an above average steel still. But I'm ready for America's birthday next year. I'm planning to carry this a lot next year. So, did I cover everything? Legal, history. I talked about John Wick. Which one's my favorite? Maybe this one is my favorite. It's the one I'm carrying lately. But they all have their good points. This isn't really EDC. It's more of a collector piece. And getting an authentic Italian made from Maniago, Italy is fun. And it's my vegan knife. This little guy, I don't ever carry it. It's not really impressive to even show off anymore. So some of these others are more impressive, but it's still a fun little guy. And then this one, I do like a lot of things about this one, except that you have to make sure to check the button is open. But other than that, it's a really nice knife. But anyway, I think I covered everything then. I'm going to do a OTF video next. Probably upload the same day as this video. So you'll see the rest of my automatic collection. My OTFs, I probably have a few more of those than I do the side openers. And I'll explain the differences. I did want to mention, we talked about how this one didn't have the spring tension all the way. We talked about why it didn't matter with the stiletto. But here I'll demonstrate it. So when I press the button in, you can see it's got the spring tension, takes it all the way to the end and holds it there. So that's what we're talking about. That's what it should do. And you won't have any problem with any of the Kershaw launch series. They all have good spring firing that takes it all the way to the house. So I know there's a lot of other companies, Microtech, ProTech, Benchmade, Gerber, and quite a few others that make side opening, but I just showed you what I have. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe go check out my cosplay John Wick. I'll be talking about John Wick again because there's some OTFs in the John Wick movies, and I've got some other OTFs because of the John Wick as well. So go check out that video. Like and subscribe, and thanks for stopping by. And remember, always carry a knife.